Hello, everyone. This is Hayati Rajini. I am a certified mental health coach, certified CBT coach, emotional clearing expert, and energy healer. In this video, I am sharing my recent and personal experience of going through grief. What I will be sharing is as follows: the 3 big mistakes while grieving, the 6 things that you can do to move through grief with grace and dignity, what support is available if you would like to move through your grief. If you have experienced a loss, then you know that it is an overwhelmingly painful experience. It doesn't matter if we lost a loved one, whether a family member or a beloved pet, either through death or missing and never found, or a breakup or a divorce. We have lost a part of us in the process. My cat Spot went missing after he was chased by a pack of dogs. He hasn't come home yet. My husband and I have been looking and are still looking for him. Spot is the closest thing that we have as a child. My heart was broken when my husband told me that he went missing and hasn't come back. I was like a mother who had lost her child. I was crying a lot. I had so many fearful thoughts that kept me stuck in fear. I also had so many unhealthy patterns that came up from this incident. As the days went by, I eventually realized that I was grieving. I noticed that I had a pain in my heart. These were emotional and physical pain. Every time I thought that Spot is alone, all by himself, somewhere out there in an unfamiliar environment, that thought brought me to tears. I was so fearful for his safety. I was also scared if he was injured, feeling weak or sick, and we weren't there for him. I am currently going through these stages of grief. At this time, I am at the acceptance stage. Once in a while, I do slip back into the depression stage. I feel like I bounce between these 2 stages. There are times when I feel normal. I still do my daily chores and I don't cry as much. Other times, when I remember Spot and how much I miss him, then I would cry again. The thing that I used to love to do was shopping for my cats, cat food, treats, cat stuff, at my favorite pet store. But since Spot went missing, the experience isn't the same anymore. Now going to the pet shop reminds me that Spot is not with us. I do feel reluctant to shop there, but I force myself to go in there anyway. Otherwise, there will be no cat food and treats for my other cats. While going through the grieving process, I encountered 3 big mistakes while grieving. The number 1 is avoiding, running away, not wanting to feel the pain or suppressing the pain. I know that it is painful, especially when the loss is recent. There are no words to describe the pain of losing a loved one. The temptation to not want to feel the loss and the pain is great. I caught myself several times when I had thoughts or I did something to numb my feelings. I entertained the thought of adopting another cat for several days until I realized that adopting a new cat won't heal my broken heart. The new cat can't replace the bond that I already had with Spot. That was when I realized that I wanted to fill in the void in my heart in my attempt to avoid feeling the loss. I was also doing emotional eating. I already felt guilty and I blamed myself for what happened. I ate not for the purpose to nourish my body, but to numb my pain and to make myself feel better. Number 2 is rushing the grieving process. because the pain is so great, so massive, and so unbearable, I wanted my pain to be over as soon as possible. I remember that within a week, I was already searching for answers to why this happened to me. I wanted answers that make sense so I could put everything that happened behind me. I did find possible answers, but they weren't able to conceal that I was still feeling the pain of losing Spot. Eventually, the pain kept on coming up to the surface. And the thing is, energy does not lie. Mentally, I can lie to myself, but emotionally, I couldn't. That was when I realized that rushing through the process is not the answer. Number three is sharing and talking to the wrong people. The wrong people are those who do not understand the kind of relationship that I have with Spot. I love Spot since he was born. I made the commitment to care for him and his siblings since then. I take my role as a pet parent seriously. Spot and I were close. He often sought my attention. He loved to snuggle at my feet. He is more than just a pet to me. He is my baby boy. For people to say that he is just a cat and eventually I will have to let him go and move on, show a lack of empathy and sensitivity. It shows that they don't know and don't understand that animals can be part of a family, and I consider Spot as a family member. Regardless that Spot is a cat, the pain of losing him, my baby boy, is still a loss that breaks my heart. This made me realize that it is of no use to talk and share with people who don't understand. I have discovered a few things that have helped me tremendously to move through my grief. I hope these can help you to move through yours as well. This work, whether you are recently grieving or you have been grieving for quite some time. Number one is accept that what you feel is valid. Accept that there is nothing wrong with your feelings, and accept that there is nothing wrong with feeling your feelings. I want to point out that there is a difference between feeling your feelings and acting out your feelings. They are not the same and they are completely different. Feeling your feelings is happening internally, while acting out your feelings is you expressing your feelings outwardly. I assert that we can feel our feelings without expressing them, and this is different from suppressing our feelings. We can still feel our sadness, anger, and upset without verbally expressing them. Of course, when it becomes overly too painful, give yourself permission to cry. Crying is a form of release. I do cry a lot since Spot went missing. I still cry whenever I remember how much I miss him. Two, focus on positive, encouraging thoughts. I know that while you are deep in it, it can be difficult to want to think positively. When your heart is broken and your world falls apart, there is no room for joy. All that you feel is pain and suffering. I absolutely get that. I was there. I find that focusing on positive, encouraging thoughts is possible only when you are aware that fears and negative thoughts contribute so much to mental pain. Once you are aware, then you can choose to shift your thoughts and focus. You can't force yourself to do it, especially when you really don't want to, but you will be willing to do it when you are conscious of your thoughts. This most likely requires several tries before you can completely shift your focus. It took me a few days to shift my focus from having so many fears for Spot's safety to finding hope that he will find his way back home to us. 3, be with the pain and allow it to flow. I find that this is the most important step that has allowed me to move through my grief. As much as it is painful to feel the pain, being with it and allowing it to flow provides a bit of ease emotionally. Every time I feel the pain in my heart, every time I miss Spot, every time I want to cry, I feel the pain, I feel how much I miss him, and I allow these feelings to flow and I release them. Every time I do this, most of the time I feel better. There were a few instances I felt heavier instead of lighter. In this case, I realized that it was because more heavier emotions came up to the surface to be released. Being with the pain and allowing it to flow requires non judgment on your part. Judging yourself while you are doing this process will only make this step harder. My suggestion is to detach from your thoughts. If thoughts pop up while you're doing this, let them go right away. And there is no need to engage with thoughts, stories, and judgments. And as emotions come up, release them. Number 4, give yourself time to grieve every single day. Block a few hours a day for you to grieve. I block a few hours either in the morning or afternoon for me to grieve. This is the time when I let myself be with the pain and allow it to flow. I find by doing this, I'm able to function better. It is like once I'm all cried out, I am good for the rest of the day. By giving myself time to grieve every single day, I am honoring myself. I am being real with myself. I am being with my feelings. I'm not suppressing them. I'm not denying them or avoiding them. I feel a lot of relief by giving myself time to grieve and release any emotions that come up. What's important in this step is that you are giving yourself time and space for you to grieve every day or once every 2 to 3 days. I do not recommend piling up your grief for days or delaying it. This never turns out well for anybody. I have done this and the result is disastrous. I find 2 hours a day is the right amount of time for me. If I feel I need more time, I just stretched it to 3 to 4 hours, or I will do another 2 hours in the afternoon. For you, you may want to check and find out for yourself. Maybe an hour a day is more than enough for you. Maybe you need a whole morning or afternoon. You won't know until you do it. 5, talk to the right person. The worst feeling to have while grieving is when we feel we aren't being heard and we feel no one understands how we feel. Most people aren't comfortable with people who are grieving. Hence, the advice that gets thrown around is to move on. Whoever that died would want us to move on. They wouldn't want us to be unhappy, etc. I personally feel this advice is harmful to the people who are currently grieving. It undermines their feelings and experience. If you need to talk to someone, find someone who understands what you are going through. Looking toward family members may not be the right thing to do, especially if they are grieving themselves or they don't understand the kind of relationship that you have. If you are grieving for a loved one, you can reach out to a grief and loss coach. Or if it is a beloved pet, then reach out to a pet loss psychologist. In my case, I reached out to my coach and I am so glad that I did. She also lost her cat and therefore she knows what I was going through. She was there for me. I felt heard. I felt validated. I had some questions and she answered them. She was able to give me different perspectives. By the end of our session, I felt less angry towards my higher self for this experience. I understand a bit better why I had this experience and what steps I needed to take to help me go through my pain. I'm so grateful that I talked to my coach. 6, forgiveness. Forgiving oneself. This can be hard for us, especially when we blamed ourselves for what happened. Unwillingness to forgive ourselves can keep us stuck in grief. It is a form of self-punishment. We don't want to forgive ourselves because we want to punish ourselves. We think by punishing ourselves makes up for what happened. The sad thing is, it doesn't. No matter how much I blamed myself or my husband or the pack of dogs, it doesn't change what happened. As much as I want to go back to the past to prevent Spot from missing, there is truly nothing that I can do to change the past. Forgiving myself was not easy since I was determined that I should be punished for what happened. True forgiveness comes from deep inner realization and acknowledgement that what happened has happened and it wouldn't have happened in any other way. For us to forgive ourselves or other people, this cannot be forced. We have to be willing to forgive ourselves or others. We are ready to forgive only when it is clear to us that by not forgiving, we are stuck where we are. This is one of the instances where we can't have it both ways. When we don't forgive, we can't move on, and we can't move on when we don't forgive. What I have found is that letting go of anger, upset, blame, guilt, and regrets can help move us towards self-forgiveness. And again, letting go cannot be forced unless you can see clearly the benefits of doing so. Benefits such as feeling at peace, acceptance, lightness of the heart, and many more. Please know that there is no set time for grieving. The time it takes to grieve varies with each person. So take your time. It is definitely not a race. It may take you months or years or forever. However long you need to grieve, only you know the answer to that. The pain of losing a loved one or a beloved pet is deep and not to be taken lightly. What I have realized is because Spot went missing, it also brought up unresolved grief from the past. While I grieve for Spot, I am also grieving the death of my mother and cousin that happened decades ago. I also trace back to my childhood where I experienced the loss of friends, friendships, meaningful jewelry, homes, a second family, and many more. And so I allow myself to grieve for all that I have lost. It is a lot for sure. I don't know if it is possible to resolve all my grief, but I am willing to do it for a few hours every single day. Those are the practices that I am currently doing to move through my grief. I hope that you have gained a few insights and are willing to do them so you can move through your grief with grace and dignity. What support is available if you would like to move through your grief? You may be able to go through grief by yourself, but it is highly recommended that you talk to someone, get guidance, or do it systematically. If you feel that you need additional support to help you move through your grief, I recommend a personal transformation package called Heal Your Heart. It consists of energy clearing that focuses on clearing and healing the heart chakra. It also clears emotional pain that is stored in the heart. By consistently clearing energetic blockages and emotional pain in the heart, it will help you to feel at peace, freer, lighter, joyful, happier, and so much more. Having these personal one-on-one sessions can help to clear so much energetic blockages and emotional pain. However, if you want to empower yourself to move through your grief, I highly recommend you do at least 2 things that I have mentioned before. One is to set aside time for you to grieve every single day. And 2, be with the pain and allow it to flow. These 2 practices are very crucial if you are serious about moving through your grief. Doing them has helped me so much, and I believe they can help you too. If you are interested in Heal Your Heart, details are available on the website. I have put the link in the description. I look forward to assist you to move through your grief. Thank you for watching. Much love and peace to you.